Welcome back. The second edition of the Sadara Kerabai Jawara Golf Tournament was played on Sunday at the Fajara Golf Course. Golfers around the country came out to revive the great memories of the late president of the Gambia. Sejuf has more on that.
This is the second edition of Sadara Kerabai Jawara Golf Tournament. The competition brought together Gambian pros, caddies and amateurs in the country to take part in the tournament of the late President Sadara Kerabai Jawara, who was a member of the Fajara Golf Club. Ibrahim Jawara expressed his feelings and gave thanks to all players who participated in the tournament.
Well, I feel proud, honored, and very pleased with today and the last few days tournaments. It's always befitting to respect and honor those who have contributed, to our country and its development. And of course, it's a double honor for me, him being my father as well. Yeah, so I'm very, very pleased the way it's gone. I'm sure wherever he is, he must be smiling, knowing that today this event has taken place in his honor, and the way it has been done as well.
At the end of the competition, all golfers gathered at hole 19 to receive their prizes. Sergio, reporting for GRTS Sport.
Zimbabwe Sport and Recreation Commission has lifted the suspension of 3 Zimbabwe Football Association board members who were cleared on abuse of office charges. However, the move came after the Southern African country had already been disqualified from the ongoing AFCON 2023 qualifiers due to a FIFA ban. The world governing body has not yet indicated if it will recognize the reinstated board. Here is Farai Mokutuya with the latest from Harare.
After weeks of digging in, the Sports and Recreation Commission climbed down and reinstated 3 of the 6 Zimbabwe Football Association executives it suspended last year. The reinstated board members are back at work and say they are committed to working with authorities to support any efforts that will fix the beautiful game. But they will find it difficult to ease the pain of a nation ruining the missed opportunity to fight for a 4th successive berth at the Continental Football Tournament.
Of course, it's disappointing, of course, to miss out, but I think there are people who have the role who can answer you better on that one. And I think it can be, your question it has people who are really on that job, like to be finalizing those things. Or I think it is disappointing for me, and also for you. I believe it's disappointing also. I think it's disappointing for everyone.
The people the English Premiership-based midfielder is referring to are the very authorities whom some are questioning.
How can you make a decision after the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers have already started? It's a cause of concern, because by the end of the day, we have other guys who are still playing soccer, and their life is on soccer, on football. So by not playing the AFCON, it's a bigger disadvantage today. I believe some of the guys who are working for SRC, they are not sportsmen or sportswomen, because they've never went through what we went through during our playing days.
At the beginning of the year, the SRC gave a restructuring committee a year to restore order in local football.
The committee is saying they're holding consultations. They have been doing in the last few weeks, but we're halfway through the year, so with 6 months to go, can they sort out the mess in football? Many are saying it's pretty basic anyway. We need to look at the junior structures of football if we want things to improve. We need to look at the issues that the SRC have highlighted already of women's football being treated the same as men. So really a lot of fans are wondering whether this is going to yield results.
If it does, all well and good, but many here are unsure that the costs, like missing out on the qualifiers, will be worth it. Farai Makutuya, CGTN, Harare.
In the internationals now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited troops on the southern front while his army battles the Russian onslaught in the Donbas region. Ukrainian forces have also been fighting off attempts by Russia to seize more territory near the southern cities of Mykolaiv and Odessa. The little change to frontline positions in recent days, the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, says the war could go on for years.
Inspecting the devastation with his own eyes. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky on his first tour of the southern front. In the strategic port of Odessa and the embattled city of Mykolaiv, the president awarded medals to the soldiers and doctors defending the front lines. His visit comes only a day after a Russian strike killed 2 people and injured 20 in Mykolaiv. Despite constant Russian shelling in Ukraine's south, the main conflict remains focused on the Donbas in the east.
The focus of the invaders is now on the cities of Sverdlovsk and Bakhmut. To improve the tactical position, the enemy tried to conduct assault operations outside the city, but was unsuccessful.
Over the past few months, Russia has taken control of almost all of the eastern Luhansk province, largely due to an overwhelming artillery advantage. Outnumbered and outgunned, Ukraine has repeatedly urged the West to send heavier weapons to the front lines.
We have good weapons, but we need much better ones. We need artillery that shoots further. Our technology dates back to the 80s. We take care of it often, but it still gets broken.
Western deliveries of heavy artillery have taken time, but some, including these US-made howitzers, are already having an impact on the battlefield.
The difference between the weapons we had before and the new ones, this cannon is much more precise. It shoots faster and it's simpler to operate. And because it's lower to the ground, it's easier to camouflage it.
As the war increasingly becomes a battle of artillery, Western military supplies are ever more critical. But for the Ukrainian troops holding on in the Donbas, the weapons aren't coming fast enough.
To Rwanda now, where the foreign minister is calling for de-escalation in tension along its border with Democratic Republic of Congo. On Friday, a Congolese soldier was killed in an exchange of fire at the crossing. The neighbors have had a strained relationship for decades. Detail in this report.
Angry crowds in Democratic Republic of Congo push towards the border with Rwanda. They're chanting slogans against the Rwandan president, Paul Kagame.
It's too much now, this provocation from the people of Rwanda. It's not the first time that we've seen this situation.
The crowds had gathered after a Congolese soldier walked from the city of Goma towards Rwandan territory, firing his weapon. Rwandan soldiers shot back. 2 of them were injured. The Congolese soldier was killed. And when his body was brought back across the border, the dead soldier was given a hero's welcome.
He expressed the courage of a real soldier by giving his life, defending the respect and honour of our country. We're asking our government to support us so that we can defend ourselves against Paul Kagame and his people.
People here blame the Rwandan president for a recent escalation of violence between Congolese forces and the M23 armed group. DR Congo accuses Rwanda of supporting, funding and arming the group, something Kigali denies.
The analysts are very worried that the M23, which has this extraordinary new energy, and the Congolese are certainly suspect that Rwanda is giving it new weapons, new arms. Everyone is worried that it's going to seize Goma, and that would change the balance of power in the region.
On Wednesday, thousands in Goma marched towards the border, ransacking shops and searching cars suspected of carrying Rwandans. This mineral-rich frontier has been unstable for decades. But the UN says hate speech directed towards Rwandans is fueling mistrust between the communities.
All of that more or less has created quite the heated kind of temperature that you have on Congolese streets today in Goma or in Bukavu, with people basically taking stones and believing that they are able to go cross in Rwanda and go to Kigali and basically take Kagame by hand.
DR Congo is now limiting border crossings. Its president, Felix Tshisekedi, is accusing Rwanda of trying to occupy his land. Military commanders are due to meet on Sunday to discuss the deployment of a regional force to try to keep the peace. Alexia O'Brien, Al Jazeera.
Before we end this newscast, let's quickly look at our top stories once again. The Gambia has joined the rest of the international community to mark World Sickle Cell Day under the theme Shine the Light. Plus, the National Youth Service Scheme have been orienting students in Basse on the role of the scheme in empowering young people become job providers to effectively contribute to national development. In sports, Zimbabwe's government has lifted suspension of 3 FIFA board members following an alleged abuse of office. And away from home, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the country's southern front as his forces continue to battle Russian troops in the Donbas region. Well, viewers, that does it for this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. And until then, enjoy the rest of GRTS's programs.
Jombananga di maole ni saidu, utu manyofe di lanyani, lel balmo. Ebai bakana, sangkana sumagondo ji alage, sede manisa soga. Chopper gimam chiyaw taylaro salla sadu pak mbabuy rafet la lay teral